If you're going to be racing Finke Desert Race, then there's three main strength exercises that you need to be incorporating into your training. And the challenge for a lot of you with the strength work and building strength for Finke is you're just not sure what exercises to do. When you're not sure what exercises to do or what sets and reps and what weights to use, then things get a bit confusing. When it gets a bit confusing and you go into the gym and just start using whatever equipment's free, that's when you start to get a little bit frustrated with your results, because you go and ride or you go and train, you're not really seeing progress, or you're not sure how to measure progress. You feel like you're wasting your time, and then you start to have a problem with motivation, because it's really hard to get motivated to do something when you're like, it's not even working, it's not helping me. So what I'm going to do in this video is just give you some exercises that we've used with our Finke riders over the years that you can incorporate into your own training to help you to be able to get ready for June. So first things first, the reason we want to get strong and the reason we want to use like a barbell, a squat rack, and some weights is because the stronger you can get yourself, the lighter the bike's going to feel when you get to Finke. If you get the bike to feel lighter going into Finke, then you're going to be ahead of a lot of other people. And the reason is because if you can get the bike to feel lighter, you're going to use a lot less energy when you ride. Okay, so it's not a matter of being strong or not strong. It's a matter of how strong. So we're going to go through some exercises right now to show you how you can build the right type of strength for the bike. So the first exercise I'll show you is called the back squat. Okay, and the thing that's really good about the back squat is it gets us in a very similar position to what we're in when we're on the bike. So all you need is your squat rack, you need a barbell, you need some weights. If you don't have that gear, well worth investing in it, okay, or getting a gym membership. People always bang on about the cost of buying gym equipment or the cost of gym memberships. And personally, I think if you're going to Finke and you're spending all that money, the entry fee alone is quite expensive, let alone getting out there. You want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position possible to be able to perform, to be able to finish it safely, and to be able to finish and have a good ride. Whereas a lot of people spend a shit ton of money on their bike and everything else and don't worry about getting some decent equipment or putting work in with their fitness. And then personally, I think it just ruins the whole ride and ruins the whole race. But anyway, back squat. So got the bar on the rack, okay, feet under shoulder width. We can shuffle back, okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bend hips and then bend at the knees, okay. Bend at the hips and then bend at the knees. Bend at the hips and then bend at the knees. So the great thing about the squat is we can really get your legs working. Now, especially at Finke, where you've got a lot of whoops and you're moving very quickly, you're going to be using your legs a reasonable amount when you're on the bike. So the stronger you can get your legs with a squat before Finke, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to wrestle the bike around, to push the back wheel into the floor, and the longer you're going to be able to do that for. Okay, so you can start off with a squat. So start off with, say, 4 sets of 10 and do that for 4 weeks with a moderate weight, and then work your way up over 4 weeks. And then in the next 4 weeks, maybe you do 4 sets of 6. Then you come back and maybe do 4 sets of 12. And then we want to alternate like that to help you to build the most strength possible. Another exercise that you can use is a deadlift, which is a great exercise as well. So again, we can start at mid-shin, pull up to a standing position, bend the hips, bend the knees, standing up, bend the hips, bend the knees, okay? Another great exercise, because the stronger you can get with a deadlift, the more strength you're going to have when you go and ride. Again, okay, when you're on the bike and you're in the attack position, it's pretty much a deadlift or a squatting position, okay? You get your hands up on the handlebars, or you're probably leaning more off the back. Your ass is going up and down off the seat, okay, in all different angles depending on which section of the track that you're going through. So it's not about doing lots of training going into Finke. It's about doing the right stuff, okay? If you can do the right stuff, you'll find you'll do a lot less training. And what I find for a lot of riders is they think they need to do more training than what they need to. And the reason that is because the stuff that they're doing is not working. So like what we work on with our guys is they do 3 45-minute sessions a week of training, okay? And that's the whole training, and that will get them ready to go to be able to ride a race for 3 or 4 hours over the 2 days. It's not an extreme amount of training. It's just making sure that they're doing the right stuff that's actually going to be able to help them on the bike, rather than doing endless amounts of, cardio or sit-ups or stuff that doesn't have a high level of transfer over to riding and racing. So to get yourself set up, training-wise and gear-wise, what you'd need is you just need some bumper plates to start off with. You probably don't need, if you haven't done much strength work before, you probably don't need some of the bigger stuff. You can probably just start off with like 5s, 10s, maybe some 15s. These are called bumper plates, so they're all the same diameter, but they're all different weights. And then you can get yourself set up with a barbell and get yourself set up with a squat rack as well. In terms of like dumbbells and kettlebells and all that sort of stuff, like they're pretty much nice to have things. I use them just for like rehab stuff or certain injuries or working on certain joints and sometimes for mobility work. But they're not essential. Like if you just want to build strength for Finke and you're going to be doing 2 or 3 sessions a week, then the essentials would be a squat rack, a bar, and some plates. And then to work on your cardio, you can either use a rowing machine like this, a Concept 2, or you can get yourself an exercise bike. The other good thing about these pieces of equipment as well is gym equipment generally is you can buy it and sell it for the same price if you get it secondhand. So have a look on Facebook Marketplace and see what you can get. But the number one thing I encourage you to do is you're probably spending a reasonable amount of money getting out to Finke, spending money on the bike, spending money on the entry fee, traveling out there, all the practice, all the pre-running, all the other stuff that goes into it. And then people tend to cheap out when it comes to getting some proper equipment to get themselves ready. And when it comes to the race, like, yes, you need a reliable bike, but you also need a reliable rider that can actually ride it properly for the full race, and not end up having a big crash because they got fatigued but couldn't hang on. So anyway, that's enough of me banging on about that. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you'd like some help getting ready for Finke, or you want a program to follow and everything mapped out, apply for my Faster Laps program below. Otherwise, I'll chat to you guys soon. See ya.